Hi everyone, it's Agnieszka from 5 Minute Language. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. So in today's video, I'm going to review a language learning app. I haven't done one of those reviews before. I think the Duolingo one was probably the last one I did, and that was probably a very long time ago because Duolingo has been around for a long time. But I know that every now and then you guys ask me to do more reviews of products for learning languages and language learning apps, so I thought I'd do just that. So today's video is about an app called Mondly, which is an app for learning languages. So I'm basically going to talk you through how the app works, the principles behind it, and also talk through some pros and cons of the app to help you decide whether it's something that you want to use for language learning. So when you go to Mondly's website, it says that the app combines conversation-focused curriculum, speech recognition technology, and gamification. You're probably familiar with the idea of gamification if you've tried Duolingo before, for example. I mean, most language learning apps actually include elements of gamification. So for example, you get points, you can create streaks when you study for a number of consecutive days, and you can also be part of a league table. So that's all part of Mondly as well. I think in principle it's a good idea because it can motivate you to learn languages every day, but also it kind of rewards success only. But I think when learning a language, not just success should be rewarded, because sometimes you can make mistakes and sometimes you fail, and that's a good thing because you can learn from it. But we'll talk about the pros and cons of Mondly in a second. First, I want to talk you through what the app actually is and what it does. So Mondly uses chatbot technology for conversation practice. It also uses speech recognition, so it allows you to practice pronunciation. You can learn from your own native language, which is a great thing because a lot of language learning apps actually only allow you to learn from English, and that can be quite tricky. Even if you're a fluent English speaker, some people always prefer to learn from their native language. So Mondly actually includes 33 languages that you can learn, and you can also learn from 33 languages. So when I tested the app, I decided to learn from my native language, which is Polish, and learning Danish, which is like quite a strange combination of languages, but the app allows you to do that. So there is a free version of Mondly. It only includes a very limited amount of material. So when I checked out the Danish course, there were maybe 3 lessons that was free, but you can also buy a premium subscription, and that gives you a lot of resources, a lot of material. So when you log into the app, you will see that the first 3 lessons, I think that was the case for Danish, are free, and then there's loads of stuff once you've actually paid for the membership. So if you're looking for something free, you might try something else, but if you're looking for to subscribe to something for a small fee, then listen to the rest of this review. So Mondly offers 1-month subscriptions. Just to give you an overview, obviously this can change, but at the moment they're offering 1 month or 12-month subscriptions. You can either get it for one language, or you can get a lifetime subscription, which is for all 33 languages. So there isn't really anything in between. You can either sign up for one language or you can sign up for all of them. So I personally wish that there was an option to sign up for 2 languages, because I like to learn 2 languages at the same time, but unfortunately that's not the case. It might change in the future. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it and it's worked for you. So Mondly includes things like learning vocabulary, so you match words that you learn with images. There's also translation activities when you translate from your native language into the target language and the other way around. Also activities where you put together sentences, so word by word you basically move the words up into a sentence to practice word order in the language you're learning. There is also this thing where in the exercises some words are highlighted. You can click on them or tap on them and you get a little explanation. So for vocabulary, you get a reminder of what the word actually means. If it's a verb, you can get a conjugation of the verb when you tap on it, and sometimes it also reminds you of different grammar points, which is great It's not something that's kind of unique to Mondly. I've seen it in other apps before, but I personally find it very useful. There is also a dialogue section in every sort of module, and basically that uses speech recognition technology. So you are part of that dialogue, you create the language, you record it, the speech recognition technology recognizes whether you pronounce things correctly, whether you said them correctly. You can then play it back to yourself, and that way you can practice pronunciation and also speaking. So let's move on to the pros of the app. I touched on some of them, but basically one of the first things I want to mention is that you can choose your level at the start. So you can choose whether you're a beginner, whether you're an intermediate learner, or whether you're advanced. So you don't have to sort of like test out of any levels, which is something that some other apps do, where you have to almost like pass a test in order to start the more advanced lessons, but you can just straight away choose your level and basically start there. Another pro of Mondly is that it really focuses on phrases rather than individual words. So there is a lot of focus on learning words in context, which is something I always advocate. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos about learning vocabulary, then make sure you do that. I always like to learn words in context, as part of sentences, as part of phrases, because that is the only way to kind of truly memorize them and truly understand how they are used in practice. So Mondly is something that allows you to do that. Another small pro, which might be relevant to some of you, is that if you're learning English, you can choose whether you want to learn British English or American English, and that's a nice kind of choice to have. Also, if you're learning from English, if that's your native language or a language you're very fluent in, then you can also choose whether you want to learn from British English or American English, which is like a nice to have. You also choose topics that you're interested in at the start, so not only are you able to choose your level, but you can also choose topics, and that way you skip the topics that you're not really interested in. So the next one is quite a big one. I mentioned speech recognition before, but one of the pros, in my opinion, of Mondly is that in the exercises that use speech recognition, there is playback of what you feed into the app. So rather than just saying something and the app telling you whether you were right or wrong, it also plays it back to you so that you can hear yourself. And a lot of language learning apps don't actually do that. You just feed it into the app and it just gives you feedback, but you can't actually hear yourself. Whereas in Mondly, there is a native speaker speaking, then you're part of the dialogue, you say something back, the thing records you, plays it back to you, and then you can hear a native speaker saying the same thing, which allows you to compare yourself to the native speaker and also notice how good you think your pronunciation is or your speaking in general, which is a really nice feature, I think. Another thing which is good is when you learn vocabulary in Mondly, maybe that's a feature in another app as well, I'm not sure, but when you do the vocabulary activities where you match a word with a picture, there is a variety of different swipe actions. So you can either sort of move the word to the picture, or you can swipe up or down depending on where the picture that represents the word is. So there's a lot of different actions you can perform on the screen, which gives you a little bit of variety and I think engages you a little bit more in the learning process. Talking about vocabulary, at the end of each section there is a vocabulary kind of revision exercise where basically you go through the different pieces of vocabulary that you've acquired in that section, which is a really nice way to kind of recap and just to remind yourself of what you've learned. Okay, so let's move on to the cons of Mondly. So the first one is something I already touched on. There's basically a choice of you sign up for one language or 33 languages, which is a bit of a problem if you want to learn 2 or 3 languages at the same time. There is currently, I think, a deal on the lifetime membership which gives you access to all 33 languages. You can check out the website, which I linked in the description box, but you know, they might be running this kind of deal occasionally, so it's worth keeping an eye on their website. Okay, the second con is to do with pronunciation. So like I said, I really like the speech recognition technology that they're using, but sometimes it's difficult to get past certain activities when you don't get things right. So I personally had never learned Danish before I started doing it on Mondly. So my pronunciation is pretty bad. So basically I wasn't able to get through some of the exercises because I wasn't getting the pronunciation right, and I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong, and there was no way for me to progress from there because I basically got stuck and I couldn't go any further. So that was one thing that can potentially demotivate people before they make any progress. Okay, and the third con that I identified in the app is something to do with the interface. It's not a major issue, but when I logged in, I thought the interface looked really kind of sleek and nicely designed, but it was quite overwhelming. There was a lot going on the home screen. There were a lot of different colors, a lot of different kind of shapes and words, and the structure of the thing was quite confusing. So I could tell that there's a lot in there. There are a lot of resources, a lot of activities, but I wasn't sure where to start. And also you have to like swipe horizontally instead of vertically, which made it slightly more difficult to navigate. But these are all kind of minor things, and overall I think Mondly is a great sleek app for learning languages. It's got a good choice of languages to learn from and to learn, and you know, generally I would say get the free version, see how it goes, see what you think, and then decide whether you want to pay the small fee to get the premium version and get access to the multitude of resources, like I said, that you can access once you've unlocked them. So I hope this review was helpful. Let me know in the comments below whether you've used Mondly before, what you thought about it, and also if you want me to do any other reviews of any other apps. I'm definitely keen to do more of that, so let me know. And that's it for today. Thanks very much and see you next time. Bye!